What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about the population of Lost Ark and its huge peak and where the game's going to look like in a few months from now. So we've seen from the Steam charts, and I'll pull them up right here, the game has had an all-time peak of 1.3 million players. And that's the great thing about Steam. You can't hide the player base. You can't lie. You can't not just show the numbers like most MMORPGs like World of Warcraft. They don't show the numbers of how many players are actually playing. Where Steam, literally there is proof of showing there's 1.3 million players online. This is a great indicator to see how the game's population is doing, and within a week of the game coming out, it still has a very steady population. Now, the game surpassed the all-time high from Amazon's other game, New World, which had a peak of 900,000 players, which I thought was really good for the game's launch. Now, we've seen with New World, the game has been all the way down to 50,000 players a few months after launch, which is really sad to see. The game is in a terrible state at the moment, and there's so many problems and issues I can list about the dupes and the bugs and the issues that this should be a 30-minute video. But that's kind of off topic. That's New World's problems. But we've been seeing with Lost Ark, a lot of people have been surprised with seeing how steady the game has kept its population. The game has been out for over a week now, and it's still having a 24-hour peak of over 1.1 million players. Within the last hour, there's still over 800,000 players, and I'm playing later into the evening. So this is impressive to see the game keep its population, and for me it's not really a surprise because of how well the game's been doing in Korea for years now, and even in Russia is doing very well, to the point where people were playing on VPNs from America, playing it over in Russia. It's been going well for a very long time, so it's not surprising to me to see the game keep a steady player base, and I feel like over time the game's going to keep a solid player base. Will it be a million concurrent players? No, that's not going to happen. But will the game keep a steady population for months now in the future? I do believe it will. And the game's roadmap is already out. All the content over in Korea is going to eventually come to us, the same way where Blade & Soul came out in the West in 2016, where Blade & Soul was released in Korea in 2012. So when it came out in the West, it had all this content from Korea that needed to still be released for us. And Lost Ark is the same way. Korea, it's been out for years, came out last week for us, so there's still a bunch of classes we need, a bunch of content, and Lost Ark is not just a PvP and dungeons and raids. There's so many different content you can do just outside of that. So I really feel like the game's going to have a steady flow of content coming for a long time, and so I can see the population being in a solid state for as long as Amazon and Smilegate keeps the game in a steady state. And I mean in a solid state, basically like no dupes and buds like we saw with New World. I do feel like this is more promising because Lost Ark has been out for years already, so there's really no way for Amazon to screw it up that much, even though there was the dupe issue where people were creating multiple founder pack issues, but that did get resolved very quickly and they did patch that very fast. So I don't feel like it's going to be a major issue, but obviously if there was a ton of bugs and glitches and exploits, population would decline way quicker than what I'm saying now. But as long as everything is pretty smooth and the content keeps coming out, I just see Lost Ark keeping 200,000 to 300,000 concurrent players all day long. At least 200,000. Like, that's being generous. Probably a little bit more. And 200,000 concurrent players means that the dungeons are always going to be going like quick. You'll find parties fast as possible. Raids will always be coming up. You always have parties and guilds. So with that many players, there'll always be content to do with others and people in your MMO. So really, 200,000 to 300,000 is a very steady population. But again, if you're thinking Lost Ark's going to have over 1 million concurrent players 5 months from now, it's not going to happen. There's going to be a decline. There always is. But the fact that Lost Ark is keeping a steady population and it's not going from like 1 million concurrent players and then the next week is down to like 200,000, that's when you know, okay, like the game's not going to last very long. That's a very bad look. The game's still keeping over 1 million players in a 24-hour period. So very good to see. So that's really the video. If you're one of those people who don't like investing in MMOs if they're not promising, I'm one of those people. Like, if I see an MMO come out and it's looking like the population is not going to be very strong in a few months from now, I don't really feel like investing my time and money into the game, because it's like, what am I going to play the game and then in like 2 months there's only going to be 10,000 players online? Like, it's not an MMO at that point. So definitely I understand people who are hesitant. I really recommend jumping to the game though, because as I said with all my points, game's going to be populated for a very long time as long as Amazon, Smilegate don't, release any crazy game-breaking exploits or dupes, again, which is highly unlikely. But either way, let me know in the comments below if you guys are excited for Lost Ark and the future of the game. I do feel like it will have a steady population, 200,000 to 300,000 all day long for the next, foreseeable future. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, Appreciate you guys watching the video as always. Leave a like, sub to the channel, and I'll have more content coming out soon.